I never understood why some people need teammates. I can easily get a chicken dinner by myself. Like now, all I have to do is use this. You've been eliminated. A Tusi bike? What a great vehicle. Who's next? Look, isn't that easy? Damn. Are you friend or foe? I think there's something special about it. Using bikes. What an interesting invention. Chicken dinner for two? Not bad. I never understood why some people need teammates. I can easily get a chicken dinner by myself. Like now. All I have to do is use these. You've been eliminated. A Tusi bike? What a great vehicle. Who's next? Look, isn't that easy? Are you friend or foe? I think there's something special about it. Using bikes. What an interesting invention. Chicken dinner for two? Not bad.
And welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Valentine Royale, right here with myself, DK and Neptra, and we're taking you into the second day of the grand finals. Now, Nep, we've got quite a bit of a day up ahead of us. It's going to be the final 3 matches for our respective duos. I'm curious to see who's going to be taking all those chicken dinners for two.
I know. I mean, we've seen such a variety coming in here so far, both on the semifinals and yesterday as well. So I'm kind of expecting to see the same sort of thing. So I'm wondering who's actually going to be taking those, because we've got a lot of teams that still don't have a win on their scoreboard. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, DK.
Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of excitement, not only for the teams, they're also going to be playing for their share of that prize pool. First place, of course, being worth $900, and it trickles down to fifth, which is worth $300. Of course, our MVP will be awarded an additional $150. But aside from the awards going out to our participating teams, we also have our UC codes that are going to be dropping in again today. And it's going to be a very healthy dose of UC coming through once again. And speaking about healthy doses, our 3 maps, as we know by now, is going to be Erangel, Miramar, and Sanok. And I'm expecting a very exciting flow of action across all 3 maps.
Yeah, same. I mean, if anything, if yesterday was anything to go by, I think the energy is really going to be ramping up in these next 3 maps today. And again, that pressure that we kind of talked about very briefly yesterday, we're going to be seeing the same sort of thing, but really, really ramped up. I mean, that pressure of only having 3 games. You only have 1 shot at each of these maps. So if one particular map is your good map, you've got to make it count immediately. And we're going straight into it, DK. Here we are on Erangel.
Well, we are taking a look at the flight path. Well, it's going to appear on screen momentarily, but there we go. It is going to be starting up towards that Stalber side, heading down towards Primorsk. So again, a very satisfying flight path, not really being all too limiting to those reachable areas. I mean, of course, if teams want to go to, you know, Zaki or the far western side of North George, or maybe even all the way over on towards Malta, nothing will stop them from just hopping into a quick vehicle and making a bit of a rotation in that direction. But the big majority of those kind of sought after positions are still very accessible from this flight path.
They absolutely are. So that's a really nice thing. And that zone, very in keeping with the flight path. So a very, very easy first bit of the game coming in for the teams. Nice introduction to the game, to the night. We're going to be seeing a lot of those teams, as you said, moving into areas that are pretty on course for that flight path. I am seeing, yeah, Severny is out there, but it's not going to be too much of a rough rotation coming in here. I'm wondering where that next phase is going to go, or rather where these teams are actually going to be congregating. We're seeing a lot of teams down to the south side, so I'm really just wondering what those hotspots are going to be as we move further into the game, where that's actually going to be placing a lot of that action.
I've got a feeling that we might either be heading down to Quarry, or it's going to pull up towards Pachinki. I think it's going to go into one of those two directions. I hope I'm wrong, and it maybe moves to Everest, right? That would also be quite exciting, but that's just kind of the feeling that I'm getting from the zone.
Yeah.
We'll find out soon enough how accurate that prediction is. But of course, speaking about predictions, we were predicting a little bit of chaos, a little bit of carnage coming through from our teams, and we could have a little bit of that potential play now coming to fruition all the way up in towards Primorsk.
Yes, indeed. I'm seeing there. Who have we got? It is going to be Execute as well as Mebesitos. So, is that Mebesitos? Yes, it is. Yeah, I just got that right. So, excellent. That could be a very interesting fight. Both of these teams have been doing fairly well here in the finals so far, and this could be a very crucial one. Let me just check. Yeah, so Mebesitos are in 5th currently and Execute in 9th, but there's only 6 points between them. So, could very well be a very crucial fight for them, for both these teams, for Mebesitos to actually keep their spot and for Execute to gain a few more points. But at the moment, it kind of looks like Execute are on the outside of that. They may have seen that the team was actually dropping with them, and they decided that they don't want too hot of an intro to the game, so they might actually decide to just go away.
Well, we'll find out whether or not they're going to look to just go away or maybe apply a little bit of pressure. But another thing that we know also then coming into today is that we have Duco sitting in a very strong position. Don Omar also sitting in a very strong position. So I'm curious to see what both these teams are going to be bringing to the table here, and whether they're going to be looking to just double down on those efforts.
I think the way that they were looking yesterday was a very strong sort of position. I mean, look at Duco, 0 wins yesterday and still in that top spot. So it's looking very nice for both of them. And I would say that they're going to try and keep that same kind of momentum going, just play the exact same way they did, because it's certainly working so far. But I'm also looking at Potatoes and also Zero Remorse DK. They're currently tied, not that far behind 1st and 2nd place. So it's definitely a battle for 3rd right now. And then, you know, got, as I said, Mebesitos in 5th with 16 points, and then Lemon Pie in 6th with 15. So we got a little bit of a battle for 3rd and a battle for 5th going on.
Yeah. We want to see even more battles come through. Ooh, but here comes the spray.
There's the pressure.
A little bit of that M4 pressure now being applied. I mean, Casper, I like this. I like how they're playing this ridge, really just trying to leverage this extra bit of a vantage point. But it does seem like Leo has actually caught them for a bit of a catch there. He's sending out, or rather pulling off a bit of a distraction, but that is not going to stop Stars. We did see those shots connecting on through. Now Leo is in a little bit of a challenging position, because now they've got to fend off the potential advances coming through here.
They do indeed. Oh no, Mebesito's going to be losing one early. That's a shame. They got that finish off, but an excellent point for Execute. So already looking good. They've got five points to go until they beat out Mebesitos there. So Mebesitos have to be very, very careful if they actually want to continue and do well and keep those placements coming into Miramar. But it looks like actually with that zone coming in, it looks like Execute have decided that 1 point is enough. They're going to be moving on out. At least Casper is. He's trying to find a spot in zone. What's interesting is that entire southwest side is free. It is available. So they have free reign of that side. So it is kind of looking like we're going to have a little bit more of an intense area over in the north side. But also a little bit in that east, you know, over to Pachinki, etc. So we could see a lot of action going that way. But at the moment, it is going to be Execute ruling their side of the zone.
Yeah, and of course, now speaking about ruling, it is going to be a little bit of an engagement coming through between Adventure and other players from Revive Me, as we can see a rather aggressive push coming in here from Nito, just rushing straight up to their door. Not even going to knock, just going to come rushing in. But let's see whether our troops will be able to fend them off as the rush comes in. Oh, down they go. The first one falls, and that is now quite a troubling position for Revive Me.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, there's nothing that his teammate can actually do there. Payne's just got to go and do his own thing, fend for himself, and that's going to be an excellent first point coming in for Ventru as well. Really nice aggression coming in from this team, and it's well placed as well because, of course, Ventru, just trying to find them. Hang on. Oh yeah, in 8th place over on that leaderboard, 10 points to their name. So currently tied with Execute. So they were slightly behind there after that initial fight over in Primorsk, but they are back and even. So definitely trying to hold those points together. But now there's another altercation coming in. DK, they're just not wasting any time, are they?
Yeah, that is going to be Zero Remorse and the two Belizos now looking to get into the thick of things. It is going to be Dan holding on to the compound coverage. But, I mean, we've seen some strong attempts coming through from Zero Tolerance yesterday, trying to play a few cheeky angles and not always having the best of luck. So hopefully today things go a little bit more in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see them kind of go out quite a bit, even though they were trying to do some good things. They didn't manage to hold on to that 4th place, rather, currently tied with 3rd. So yeah, definitely one to watch coming into here. But they're looking pretty good. This is an interesting kind of angle to take because this compound in general is just so difficult. You really have to get a knock before you push it. But it looks like they might be trying to get that off angle. Much better area. Nicely done here. This is a great push coming in from Azen because you can't move into that compound any other way. This is the only angle you can have. But he's put himself in quite the precarious position because now he's within nading distance. And with all this cover, that teammate can't really cover him all that much.
Yeah, and of course, as we can see, Kenny Dan already hard on the trigger with those utils, sending them out, trying to find a bit of an opportunity here. But I guess to see that we've got Dan setting out all those util, and we don't really have Dan looking to really try and bring in a bit of that extra additional pressure, but it's not going to be needed as Dan now yeets it over, gets the knock, and now it turns to Clot to try and see how they can piece this back together.
Yeah. Excellently done. Oh my goodness, very nasty knock coming in from Clot's side. Great DP action coming in there. So at least that's evened things up a little bit, and he's going to have to be very careful. Both of them are going to have to be very careful on how they play this next. I mean, it's really just a wait and see, and no, that was not the right. Well, maybe it was. Okay, so he's going to get that finish coming through here. So that is going to be 1 point. Get that point. It makes sense if it's going to be a dangerous crossing. He's now in a really tough spot. Get that point. So at least, you know, you're not going to go out with 0. But I think Clot is not really looking to make many moves here. He's probably just going to be waiting for that crossover. But Dan's going to be using the vehicle. Oh, this is smart. I really like this from Dan. Beautifully done. What a great play.
Yeah, some big brain strats coming through here, and this could now be the two Belizos back in action. But Clot is going to try and close the gap, rushing forward, looking to play at the opportunity at hand. Oh, but could this nade be the one? It is getting scary close, just around the bend, and off they are. It is the two Belizos sending Zero Remorse right back into that lobby.
Yeah, very, very, very well done. Tubalisos doing a great job there. Really love seeing that. Some really high IQ plays coming in there as well. So great use of those vehicles, great use of the angles of the cover. Very, very well done. And to keep both up. I'm surprised Clot really went for that push because he had to have known, but because he only had he had no vehicle, that by the time he actually got there, they were going to be res back up. So you did see he might have been trying to get those nades going through, but it was just too late. Jess, oof, nearly having a bit of a bad day there. But yeah, a bit of a shame from Claw. I think he would have been better off just moving off on his own and being a solo. We've got a few solos already, so what's one more? But hey, the decision was the decision, and Tubalisos are going to be very thankful for that decision because that means 2 points for him.
Yeah, but I gotta say, we're seeing a lot of efficiency coming through from these duos, right? They get the knock, they get the follow-up, and there's not a lot of time really being spent on allowing for those reses to come through. So that kind of results in all these damage figures that we are seeing, some heavy numbers being put on the board. But of course, we are down to our final 10 remaining hopefuls. Already. 10 groups, or duos rather, making their way through. But this is, again, yet another opportunity, and look at that. Again, the two Velisos not even going to be waiting around, just trying to hit those shots right up into Cretinos.
Yeah, and the thing is that we've seen some really great stuff from the two Belisos, but honestly, this is like a whole nother level from them. We're seeing a really, really good game coming in here. Some great plays. They're really holding on to these angles that they have. They're getting those plays done. They're doing it concisely with efficiency, like you said. So just some really good stuff coming in from them. Really excited to see where this actually takes them coming into the final few phases. Are they going to actually win this? They're kind of playing like they will, but we'll have to see because there's a whole bunch other action going on right now.
Yeah, we do see a little bit of that convergence now pulling up in towards center zone as we see the players there from Don Omar looking to get themselves asserted. Of course, it is going to be Execute just on that southern side. But then just a little bit further off, we got the Potatoes also now holding on to a very exciting position here. So curious to see where that zone is going to go. Is it going to pull up north in towards Pachinki, or is it going to stay out in these open fields? Because if it does, this will allow a great bit of continuity rather for the teams already situated in center.
It will, because I'm looking at that map and I'm seeing a lot of teams that have situated themselves near those fields. So it would be best for them if that were the case. I don't know that it's going to continue that way. I mean, the zone has been pretty center this entire time, so either we're due a hard shift or this is kind of the trajectory that we're going on. But we will know in a second. Oh, and it has centered up. I think we'll see that on screen in just a minute. So it has gone the way of most of these teams, but it does put the two Belicios out of their spots. So they're going to have to make that rotation in. Is that going to change their chances? I don't know. But we're also having a couple of teams move in from the blue zone as well. Two solos made a very late rotation coming into stage 4. So we could be seeing some solo action coming in, but I think Tubalisos, yep, they have their own work cut out for them.
Oh, but I mean, I was looking at this rotation coming through and it looked on point as they rush in, and there we go, just claiming even more victims. As they now sit with 5 eliminations to their name, of course, laying waste there to Don Omar, but they're not out of the woods because we still see Execute just hanging in the wing. But speaking about hanging in the wing, Duco taking a very chilled spot right far away from that zone, trying to evade all these confrontations as best they can.
I think we saw that a lot coming in from them yesterday as well. We didn't really see much of them until Zone 4, Zone 5, and then when we did see them, it was because they were making those huge rotations, really late rotations, specifically in Senhawk. I remember them really struggling against the zone there. So this is not untoward from them. This is not at all out of the ordinary. But I would wish that they would be a little bit snappier with them. It works for now, but with such an open kind of zone, you're looking at a lot of teams positioning very early to get those spots set up and get a foundation under their belt. So I don't know what that means for them. They are lucky that it's a side of the zone that there isn't really anybody there either. So they're able to set up shop anyway, despite how late they are. But for Execute, I do want to say they got a pretty center spot here. So Execute looking very good. Got some compounds going, but they don't have high ground. So how long is that really going to be working out for them?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure though. Definitely not quite sure as to how that one will play out. But I think this is what makes it so exciting, is moving into this territory that it currently sits. We can see Execute of all course holding on to that center point now. As we look a little bit further onto the side, we can see Duco now starting to venture in. Coutinho's also trying to make a bit of a stand here, but that zone is going to reveal itself. It does move a little bit further up north, and this is where it takes quite the shift. And Execute now actually finding themselves in a very formidable position.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. They are looking really, really, really nice now. All those teams, it's going to get very chaotic, though, for them. They have to... all those teams are going to be going on to the south side, which is directly where Execute are. So they're going to have to make a lot of third-party plays here. They're going to have to make sure no one actually crashes them. And by doing that, oh, this is bad. Hang on, Leo, my dude. He's struggling, but he manages it somehow to stay alive for just a little bit, but that's pretty nice. Hopefully he can continue that. But Execute, honestly, they're going to have to make sure they get all those sprays on all those people coming towards them, so they actually divert them away. Because otherwise they are going to be in some pretty hard times as maybe Cetos go out.
Oh. Well, another team that I think is holding a very interesting position is the two Belizos. We can see them on that northern edge, and they are playing that elevation. But I'm curious to see just what opportunities will be available for them. In the meanwhile, it is going to be a little bit of a fighting coming through here from Lemon Pie. Of course, now Duco also going to try and just push that extra little bit. Hopefully, they could be opting for a bit of an eastern rotation, or at least for that eastern side. But that's going to put them in a very vulnerable position, because the two Belizos will have that line of sight down onto them.
Yeah, they absolutely will. So very, very strong position coming in from two Belizos, honestly. They got that high ground. I always love a bit of high ground versus a compound. So it gives them a lot of freedom to kind of work with. They can run about everywhere. There's a lot of teams that are all kind of centered on themselves and at each other, so not really looking up there just yet, because for most of these teams, the new priority is actually getting inside zone rather than looking at teams who are inside zone. So for many of them, they are going to be they're not going to really be looking at them at all. The only thing though is Duco. They're going straight for them, and now they've gone in between. Oh no, in between the two teams. That's not good at all.
Yeah, now they are being, of course, the players here from Duco are being forced into that shack. What? Put them in the window, sure. Now everyone can see your teammate. Just pop those hits in. And speaking about hits, it is going to be Cap now getting sent back as they've now met the end of the road here. But again, a strong angle being held here as we have the players from Lemon Pie now running into a little bit of difficulty. That first knock has come through. Not quite sure whether or not Pampa's teammate will be able to bring in that reinforcement. But look at Casper, just looking to capitalize on these angles.
Yeah, for sure, Casper. And the zone goes to them again. So Execute looking very, very strong right now. And what's interesting, I just noticed, is they still have only that one elimination coming in from maybe Cetos, I think it was, back in Primors. So they've done a lot of shooting, a lot of barking, and not a whole lot of biting so far. But it doesn't really matter because they have zone, they have the compound in zone, and now the other four teams kind of have to scramble.
Well, there's going to be a lot of scrambling that now needs to come through. I mean, two Belizos already sitting all the way up on those 6 elims apiece. Both Dans having their equal share of those elims. But now comes the true moment of truth as they are going to be rushing straight onto the side of Execute. Oh, but they are met with warm open barrels as the hits come in very close succession. The first Dan is down, the second Dan goes down, and that is the end of the road.
That's a big shame coming from them, but we did see that they had 6 eliminations, so honestly not bad at all for that 5th place. 6 eliminations, that's going to keep them very well in the running, so GG's nonetheless. But Coops behind that buggy, that's what that's called, behind the buggy, just inside just inside the blue zone, but now we kind of got this very, very tight position, sometimes in zone, sometimes out from Cassie. Ooh, but now, yeah, they all have to move in. This is going to be really tough for teams. Execute have all the power here, and they know it. They're just trying to manage it, and that's going to be super duper important because if I'm correct, no, not quite. Lemon Pie still only have a solo, but the rest of them are duos, so they got like full teams all looking at them. So it's going to be very tricky to not get caught up in how many people are around you, but just keep checking those angles, making sure that nothing really happens too much. And Casper's doing a great job of that at the moment, just trying to make sure that this doesn't happen. Excellent work coming in from Casper. That could have been so easily gone wrong if Casper wasn't keeping such a close eye on and just allowing that smoke to get in his way, but he did. He actually went through it just enough, and that was really, really well played.
Yeah, some great timed hits coming through on that one, but now it turns to Execute to see whether or not they can maintain their controlling positioning here. Of course, Lemon Pie looking to find a little bit of that as the potatoes now go down, and there we have it. Execute.
Nice.
Steal the show, coming in with 6 eliminations to their name, and what a way to kick off of this first match. I mean, we did see some pretty strong Elam figures being put on the board once again.
Yeah.
We did see, of course, Execute coming in with the strong numbers, as mentioned. Lemon Pie also trying really hard to secure a decent finish, doing so with 4 Elams up. And then, of course, we had the 2 Belisos also finishing with 6 Elams to their name. So a very, very exciting and slightly sweaty start to the action here today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely sweaty. Absolutely. I'm really, really looking forward to the Miramar now after all that. Yeah, Casper coming in with 5 eliminations right off the bat. So he is doing a great job of keeping those points steady. And remember, coming into this game, they were only 6 points behind Mebecitos in, let me just check that very quickly, in 5th, right? So they're only 6 points behind 5th place. So those 5 eliminations plus the win coming in here, that has definitely put them in the running for that top 5 in one game. If they can continue this trajectory into the next 2 games, which looks very, very doable for a team that's doing, very well here tonight, it could be very well a change in the overalls that we'll be seeing.
Yeah, it could definitely be. And of course, now speaking about change, it is going to be the 2 Belisos being our most valued team, walking away with 1,150 damage coming off of those 6 eliminations that they were able to find. So a very, very aggressive hand being held right there. And of course, our top 4 teams being the 2 Belisos, Execute, Lemon Pie, as well as Venture Inc. Now, this is ranked, firstly, based on eliminations, but then secondly based on the amount of damage. So even though the 2 Belisos got sent back in 5th place, they still did quite a bit of damage.
They absolutely did, and that's going to be still such a great result from them. Because I just noticed, DK, if we look at the overalls from yesterday, they had 2 points. 2 rank points overall. They're in 13th place currently. So they've more than tripled, or about tripled, their points in one game. So it's looking very, very positive for them. These 2 teams are definitely going to be ones to watch coming up.
Yeah, can't argue with that at all. And we also see a little bit of that grenade love being set out there by the 2 Belisos. But I think what really worked quite well in their favor was the fact that they were playing that elevation towards the northern side of zone. And now as we look over on towards our scores here, you can see Execute picking up those 16 total points. Lemon Pie walking away with a big chunk of that, 10 points to their name. And then the 2 Belisos with those 6 eliminations, finding themselves a grand total of 9 points. So yeah, we see quite a lot of the eliminations being taken by our top 4 teams here.
Yeah, absolutely. But interesting as well, we're seeing a lot of teams with, kind of at least 1 point going forward. I think generally we see quite a few more teams actually with 0 points at all. So looking very sweaty, looking very good. We're seeing a lot more awareness to where they kind of are, where they're situated, where their teams are situated in order to get those points. And also that might have to do with the open ground of the last couple of phases as well. Much, much easier to see those teams. So very nicely done. And yeah, great awareness coming in here. The Miramar is going to be a lot more open. We're going to see a lot more of that open territory. Hopefully that will be a lot of fun. So I'm thinking we're looking at the same kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good start, of course. Not only do we have a good start, but we've got the UEC codes here as well. So be sure to head over to the PUBG Mobile Redeem site to get your hand on that UEC. Go grab it up. If you've done so, let us know in the chat. We're curious to see who are the people walking away with these glorious UEC codes. This is a one-time use only. So the first person to claim it gets it, right? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So, fastest fingers first. And speaking about fastest fingers first, of course, we are going to be getting ready to transition into our second map. And that means we have to take a quick little bit of a break before we head over into the glorious desert dunes. So be sure to stay tuned. Go claim that UC code as well, and we'll see you guys back in a short few moments.
I never understood why some people need teammates. I can easily get a chicken dinner by myself. Like now, all I have to do is use these cards. You've been eliminated. A Tusi bike? What a great vehicle. Who's next? Look, isn't that easy? Dang. Are you friend or foe? I think there's something special about it. Bikes. What an interesting invention. Chicken dinner for two? Not bad.
What's up, guys, and welcome back. We are getting ready to hop into our second game. As we know, it is going to be heading right over in towards Miramar. Already, as we saw, right, quite a bit of action coming through in our very first match there with Execute stepping up, claiming that glorious winner chicken dinner. But I don't know who's going to be taking it. Comes through in over on Miramar.
I mean, honestly, it's really a toss-up between all of these teams. They're all doing really well. I think we're seeing a different kind of style coming into tonight from most of the teams so far. Definitely a new level coming in to really try and get as many points as possible. Honestly, I'm looking at two Belisos, though. They're looking really, really strong. And for Miramar, I think we've seen them do pretty well on Miramar in the past. So I'm definitely looking at them for this game.
Yeah, there's no arguing with that. I do believe that the two Belisos are going to be one of the teams to watch here, or one of our duo squads to keep a very tight eye on, as it does seem like they've come in today looking to prove a point, really stepping up that performance. And Miramar will be a great map to try and further the amount of points that they've already been able to secure. So let's see where this will take them, and maybe they'll get into a little bit of that exciting action early on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. We've seen that, you know, the lower number of or lower number of players rather does not make the game go any slower at all. They're really, really good finding each other and getting that game started ASAP. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that, especially with that kind of zone, flight path rather. If that zone goes south, we're going to be seeing a lot of teams moving in on that north side. It's going to get very congested. If we don't see that, I still think, you know, El Pozo, San Martin, they're going to be very busy. I think those kinds of areas, teams are going to want to kind of stick around. So we could be seeing a lot of very early action here.
Well, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to see where that zone is going to be going. For some other odd reason, it is hiding itself from us at this point in time. But we do see quite a bit of spread coming through. The players there from, yeah, that is Potatoes already starting to move down south. Ooh, okay. A little bit of backtracking having to come through, but this is now the second map in which we saw the zone staying to this beginning portion of that flight path.
Yeah, that is true. We're seeing a little bit of a pattern coming in here, and it's a very interesting pattern at that. With this particular zone, we don't generally see much of El Azahar, Junkyard, Cruz del Val. This northeastern side, we generally don't see all that much of. So very refreshing to have a different kind of zone coming in here. But what I will tell you, DK, is there's a lot of teams over in that El Pozo general area. Half the lobby is over there. We only have 4 teams in zone. Everybody else is out of zone. So I think Picado, San Martin, Hacienda, water treatment, that side of zone is going to be very busy very quickly, but maybe not as busy once one of these several teams get done fighting, because there's a couple of hot drops.
Ooh. Well, speaking about hot drops, it is going to be quite a bit of action already right out of the gate. Oh, Potato goes down. Yep, that is quite the blow being dealt. But again, no surprise to see Duco stepping it up. We know that they came into today looking pretty strong with regards to their points on that leaderboard. But speaking about strong, the two Belisos, the team that we said we're going to be keeping an eye on, already finding themselves in a bit of an opportunity here.
Ooh. And one going down here. So two Belisos, they may see that the end to their run very, very quickly, but I think they are going to be able to get this this res back up and running. Hopefully they should be able to for them. Yeah, they're going to be, I think it's Cretinos. Yes, Cretinos are going to use this as an opportunity to heal back up, just kind of rearrange themselves. So no push coming in there. It's still a bit of a standoff. So just going to be using it to reset. So GG's there. And close call, though, for both of them. It looks like they were both kind of very, very low indeed. So good to get all that back up and running. And for now, it's still going to be a standoff.
Yeah, the standoff is there, but we also did see the players from Zero Remorse just pulling in up on the hillside. So there's going to be an extra level of caution that now needs to be brought in, as both the two Belisos and Cretinos are not only facing it off against each other, there's also a lingering threat just up on the hillside. Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I think we've lost DK. Oh, and he's back. Hello.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
he's
sir.
back. He's back.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a lag issue coming through. Those lovely gremlins doing their usual thing. But I'm curious to
Excellent.
see what is going to come through from this position now up into San Martin.
Absolutely. I love San Martin. It's a great spot to be in. Ooh, and Onion putting in some work, trying his best and just falling a little bit short there. Yeah, just didn't really have that weaponry, have the things he needed to get that done and dusted. So that is going to be Duco getting a couple of early eliminations and Cap going out very early indeed. Big shame for them, but there is always that Sandhawk to start doing some good things with, and Sandhawk is anybody's game. We all know that, so could definitely be theirs if it goes their way. But for now, it is going to be Duco grabbing those points, maintaining that lead as far as I'm aware. And we will see if that's going to mean they're going to move up into San Martin, because we do already see another team up there. Who is that? That, of course, is going to be Zero Remorse. So another team that want to hold on to that top 5 spot. Oh, Kretinos, Kenny Dan going down once more. Trying to make that rotation across the hill, across the road there. And this is going to be the push. Yeah, they know that this is far more dangerous for the two Belicios. They're going to try and make this push as quickly as possible. And honestly, I'm seeing Kretinos have a really good shot here.
Yep, they definitely have a great opportunity. But are they going to be able to leverage that, though? Because from what we've seen come through from the two Belicios, it's not going to be the easiest push that they have up ahead of them. But it does seem like Dan is trying to play the cover game, and now it is going to be Zero Remorse now, just raining down fire from up that hill and definitely coming to the aid of the two Belicios.
Yeah, absolutely. They are indeed, but two Belicios, they're down to a solo now. Dan has gone out, and it's just Dan left. But yeah, as you said, they're definitely holding off Kretinos here for a little bit. They can no longer be as bold with their pushes. They know that Clot is there, or somebody is up there, and they know that they have a great angle on them. So they're going to be waiting for those smokes. And now here comes the push. Kenny Dan's in trouble, DK.
Yeah, Kenny Dan is indeed in a bit of trouble, but they aren't going to be two-faced as they do find the first knock on the front, and that is the clutch coming through. What a glorious performance. And now we have one of our teams getting taken down. Another team also now starts to trickle up into zone. That is going to be the players here from Venture. And as you can see, up until just mere moments ago, the only teams we had in zone were the teams situated up in towards San Martin. The rest of the squads, or duos rather, starting to trickle in, looking for a bit of that angle to take. And it does seem like San Martin will still be quite the center point for a lot of the action here.
Which I love to see. It's one of my favorite spots on Miramar, so I'm always ready for a lot of action over on this city. And yeah, Venture not gonna be shy about it. They're gonna be just taking a little bit of the higher road here, and they are gonna be, oh no, they're not, because actually Zero Remorse have moved on from that position, so Venture can have that compound that Zero Remorse were just in. They can have it perfectly freely. Not sure that they're gonna want to at this point. They don't really look like they might want to. I think a more central position at this point. We do know that San Martin probably is not gonna be in zone, so we'll have to see how they decide where to position themselves. But Venture, for now, definitely have free reign over this area.
Yeah, and that's a glorious position to be in. A little bit of smooth sailing as they seem to be looking to pull a little bit further in towards the zone instead of just hugging that edge position. But speaking about teams really looking to explore their options, we can see up in towards Hacienda del Patron. Of course, then the players here from the side of Duco also playing still a very, very kind of close position to that edge play. But again, quite a lot of available territory. And now we could see Dan just rotating up in towards them, as we should see Dan. Yep, there we go, coming through. Oh, not the best play for Dan to make at this point.
No, not at all. And the worst part is he still doesn't know they're there, so he's not exactly going to be all hunky-dory. Or he is going to be hunky-dory rather. Oh, but maybe he's decided, no, wait, what is this? He knows that they're there now. The shots get fired and Kenny Dan trying to hold his own, but Lua, oh, Molotovs herself almost. Oh my goodness me, very narrowly escaping that blunder. But Lua, I mean, should be going around the outside after this nade. I would hope so, that they're trying to get a little bit. Oh, how? That's the second Molotov that Lua's missed.
Wow. Well, I've seen walking on water, but this is Lua dancing on flames and not even getting touched by it. But this is a great goal coming through from Dan now, using the opportunity to get the heck out of Dodge, and I think this is the best call that they could have made.
Oh, absolutely. It was really, really big brain to actually Molotov the entrance so they can't move through. That was their quickest entrance or quickest access to him. By cutting that point off, they not only kind of held back a little bit, but it also would have taken them longer to go around the outside, which was just enough time that he needed to get out of there. So nicely played from Dan in this situation. And honestly, Duco narrowly missing out on getting eliminated there, because that Molotov, the double Molotov miss, is iconic.
Yeah, I mean, that's hot, right? Super, super hot. But of course, speaking about hot, that blue zone is going to close up momentarily. We will have our next stage being revealed as well. Curious to see where it is going to be moving towards, but as we know, just a few seconds and it does move all the way up north, and this is looking on the money now for Lemon Pie, as they've got a very decent starting point with regards to this next phase.
They do, they really do, but it looks like they're going to actually move out of there. They're going to go for a great central spot. Again, high ground is key, and it looks like that's what they're going to be going for. So yeah, love this zone completely, because we're going to get so many fights on so many different angles, DK. We got some coming down from the south side. You've got Execute only now exiting the blue atoll. You're also going to have the Potatoes coming in on that eastern side, and there's two teams still up onto the north. So we're going to have a lot of action at a lot of different places, but now it's Zero Remorse and Ventru. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was looking at this this convergence coming through between Zero Remorse and Ventru. And it's going to be Aizen quickly trying to pop in a few cheeky hits there, but Nitor just holding a steady angle, looking to play the terrain. I think this could still swing either which way, but normally I would say they need to be careful not to try and make too much noise to draw in a third-party play here. But looking at the rest of the teams, I mean, they're no immediate threat, right? They can just go about their business and try and figure out who's going to be the team to walk away from this.
Absolutely, and there's so much freedom in that. Unfortunately, they probably won't know that, so the freedom is only on our side, that we know that they can't really do a whole lot, or they can do a whole lot. They don't really know that, which is a bit of a shame, because that would probably enable them to use a lot more utility, do a lot more than what they're doing currently. But they're pretty much out in the open there. They're not really caring about what's behind them just yet. But yeah, Ventru, honestly, I think Ventru have at least one more vehicle. I'm not sure why. Maybe the points. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, the points. I was just thinking, because they have one vehicle. They were trying to get that truck there, but honestly, the truck's not worth it. Just move on. Just get out of there. But if you want the points, that's a whole different story. So we're going to be looking at that, keeping a close eye on that one as we see Execute moving across Junkyard. We're also seeing that center position get really filled up quickly. We've got 3 teams up there now, and almost all teams are inside a zone. Yeah,
speaking about being in zone, of course, we have the players here from Don Omar holding on to a very centralized positioning. But I'm curious to see what's going to come through from the players of Lemon Pie, just situated towards the northern side. Again, we see a little bit of that elevation being played, or potentially being played here. Of course, the standoff will continue around towards the southwestern side. Neither team really looking like they want to give up the play just yet. But as we know, once that blue zone is closed in, they might or might not have any other choice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big gamble that you take with any sort of edge play like this. Is the zone going to go to you? Most likely not. So how long do you really hold on to this? Because now you're putting yourself it's one of two things. Either they're going to try and be really, really quick with that fight and get rid of the other team so they can move on in peace, or it's going to get really elongated and now they're going to be in a world of hurt because they both got to move on, but they're both waiting for the other one to go first, and etc., etc. Oh, and is that a Bugatti already? Oh my goodness. Love to see it from Coops, of course. Coops coming in with the hottest rides in PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, a little bit of a flex coming through here. I gotta say, it looks pretty good.
It does look nice. I want that one.
What, however, is not looking all too good is going to be this play coming through between Zero Morse and Ventru, because the zone has centered up a little bit more. We can see it just barely visible on the edge on that mini map. But as you said, right, someone has to be the first one to move, and it's going to be risky whoever makes that first call.
It is, and I think honestly that Ventru have the advantage here because they have that ridge, so they're going to be able to get well away by the time that that the other side actually sees them. Whereas you are looking at Zero and Morse, they have to go on an uphill slide, so Ventru going to have a lot more angles on them in that rotation. So I think Ventru would be in Zero Remorse is for sure best interest that Ventru actually leave first. So on both sides, honestly, Zero Remorse, just let him go. Let him go, but Jess is not going to let this one go. Who is that just went skating on by?
Well, I believe that was a little bit of a mix, right? I think it might either be maybe Citos or even what is left of the two Belisos now making a play or making a bit of a dash here. It does seem it is maybe Citos up ahead. Yeah, but here we go. Zero Morse. They've spotted a little bit of movement, also trying to push out. And here we go. Of course, the Potatoes now laying a waste into the maybe Citos, picking up those hits and taking the numbers down to only 9 remaining squads.
Wow, very, very. It's been a quick game considering this is the largest map on this rotation. Oh, and honestly, actually, I like this from Zero Morse. They got that initial knock, used it to get a little bit more in zone. Now they're trying to gatekeep, but they're not quite in zone enough, so they're going to have to continue that trajectory into zone. But very nicely played from Zero Remorse. They didn't have that many options, and yet they're making the most of it. So a really good job coming in from them. So far, not being super duper helpful, but that will be because that not gonna make sure that the blue zone grabs them, and when it does, that's a point to them.
Yeah, but I think this is an absolutely big brain strat coming through from Zero Remorse. I love the fact that they just repositioned enough to get that extra bit of leverage. Now it is going to be Azen. He's already found a bit of damage. Oh, just on the edge of the door comes knocking through. Will it find that last bit? Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Puts the cherry on top and off they go. Now, as we look on, of course, it is going to be Potatoes looking to recover a little bit of that ground positioning, trying to move in on the eastern side. But they've slightly been beaten to the punch by Lemon Pie just up ahead of them. And of course, now that third-party pressure being applied by Don Omar coming through from the east.
Yeah, I gotta say I love this from Lemon Pie. The proactiveness, the reaction time, that zone's just popped, and they went from their center position that they had to a new position already. They've made it very quickly to a spot in the new zone. There they are, and they're actually going to be going up against Zero Remorse here. They're going to have to be careful, but they do know that they're there, so they're not going in completely blind. But who is that behind them as well? Oh dear, that is going to be Revive Me. So they kind of put themselves in a little bit of a sandwich position if they're not careful. But the good news is that Revive Me most definitely are not in zone, so they're gonna have to do their own thing and not really worry too much about what they're doing here.
Yeah, it does allow them a little bit of a better play, but looking at what we've got cooking over here, it is going to be Lemon Pie now, trying to get as much of that dessert as they can muster. We see a few rotations coming up behind them as well, and that is going to be none other than Duco making their mad dash. They want to get that positioning, but look at this Clot already hot on the trigger finger. As the first few hits come through, that is Casey down. But where's it going to go as Lua now needs to try and pick it back up?
Yes, indeed, but those nades are just too on point, I think. There goes the utility nading. There we go, and that's going to be Lua. I don't think Lua's going to be able to get his teammate up there. That's going to be a big shame if that's the case, though. Coops has gone down for the potato, so it is just Jess just lying low, trying her best. and off as well down to the play zone there. So super duper.
Out!
Oh, he almost had it, but no.
Oh.
Duke get eliminated. Great name coming in there. What a play.
That was a slam dunk if I've ever seen one coming through right there. Of course, now
Absolutely.
Execute still trying to apply a little bit of pressure. It seems like they're trying to create a bit of a pathway to get themselves back in towards that zone, but unfortunately for them, the teams up ahead are not necessarily in their direct rotational path. Instead, the teams are kind of broken off to the side, so that is going to make things just that extra little bit more challenging. But it seems like they are definitely up for the challenge, moving up with a monster truck.
I have never seen a monster truck with a wheel taken out like that. That is hysterical. But yeah, they're not going to be using that. They have to use the buggy. Will they go straight for Jess? No, I don't think that would be a good idea. So they're going to be moving out elsewhere. But I tell you what, that zone kind of blessed Lemon Pie on this one. They're looking very, very nice indeed. They're slightly outside of zone, but there's still enough of that ridge to actually use to come into zone and actually stay there. But they're gonna have to be quick on this one. I think they're lingering just a little bit too long onto Zero Remorse. Donamar get eliminated, but there's still plenty of teams all around them. They're gonna have to be very careful that they don't get choked out here.
Well, I mean, Execute looking to prove a bit of a point. Only one elimination to their name. The Potatoes, in the meantime, will get sent on back. And that is also the two Belisos now getting eliminated. But here we go. Look at the sprays that Star now pops or picks up Papa. And now it turns to Aries, the final contender now left to hold on for Lemon Pie. But, oh, look at that. Even more as Zero Remorse for Victim.
Wow, what a play coming in from Star and crew. My goodness me. They've just decided to come in, show up, and just take some names. Oh my goodness me. Doing some great work there. Yeah, that was kind of what I was worried about for Lemon Pie there coming in, that they were leaving that rotation just a little bit too late, and as soon as they popped their head over that ridge, they were going to get zapped, and zapped they did. So it is just Aries on his own now, and Star is having none of that. He will have no solos on his list. He's going to have full wipes only. So he's looking to make the most of this nice Molotov. He knows exactly where he's going to be. But is it enough? It is!
Oh, well, what a throw that was. But now we go down to our final showdown. It is going to be a Revive Me holding on to the stronger positioning within the zone. But up comes the mad dash to the rush. It is Star falling right in front of them, and Execute now down to one as Casper is now being forced to play from the edge of zone, but the blue zone has caught up. I don't think they're gonna make it. Nope, they don't. That is the end. And what a clutch as Revive Me managed to take that winner chicken dinner, and doing so with only 3 eliminations to their name.
I know. Fantastic work coming in from them. What a great play. They actually were very, very quiet in that game. They did just enough to get themselves into the zone in order to get themselves, a spot there, just to make sure that they could make that next play. And honestly, to be fair, we will say that Execute did a lot of that work. They got rid of about 3 or 4 of those teams in that final zone, but then they just had to wait it out, let them do all the work. Why? Get those points for the win and call it a day. So very well done to them.
Yeah, definitely amazing performance. And I mean, you gotta say, Execute, you gotta commend them as well for their efforts, securing themselves 5 eliminations. But again, then also Zero Remorse coming through with 5 eliminations to their name as well. So, some strong effort being brought in as the teams keep on pushing. And yep, the UC codes are out once again, just above Natura's head. If you can't spot it, it's over there, over on that corner. Right, so be sure to head over into the Redeem website, enter the code, your user ID and the verification code, and well, the UC, yeah. There we go. If you're the first one to claim it, will be in your account in game. Well, you'll get a message in game. But either which way, it is going to be first come, first serve. And speaking about first come, first serve, Aizen definitely stepping up to the challenge here.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a phenomenal job coming in here. Zero Remorse in general, I'm actually really impressed with how they played that against, who was it, Ventru. I really like what they did there. They kind of turned that situation on its head and really used it to their advantage. So big brain play is coming in from them. And of course, yeah, they're going to be the MVT as well. 5 eliminations, 700 damage, 3 assists. So that 3 assists, I think, is coming in clutch there for that MVT position as well, because that should have been 8 eliminations going their way. That would have been the most we've seen for this Miramar, and that survival time is pretty nice as well. So GG Zero Remorse putting in the work for Miramar.
Yep, they put in quite a bit of hard work, and our top 4 teams are going to be Zero Remorse, Execute, Revive Me, and of course the 2 Belisos. So again, right, we were talking about the 2 Belisos, the team to watch, and so far it looks like they're keeping the consistency there. A nice little sprinkle of placement points wouldn't be something to say no to, but so far definitely keeping it up with regards to the eliminations.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So looking very, very nice across the board, honestly. And we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern coming in here. The last couple of games have had pretty much the same kind of teams coming through here. So I'm very interested to see where that overall standing puts us. But for now, we're going to be looking at that head-to-head. It is going to be the kills actually the same, but the same for a big difference in damage, DK.
Yeah, quite a big difference. It seems if you gotta divide that damage between the 2 teams, it makes a little bit more sense to see both teams sitting on very similar figures. But yeah, the hard work has been done. The teams now reaping the benefits from that, definitely trying to secure all those points. And as we know, it's only going to be the top 5 placements that get a share of that prize pool. So the heat is going to be on, the pressure is there, and the teams will just have to stay the course moving in towards Sanhok to keep up with that consistency.
They will indeed, and this is where it gets super exciting, because we know that these teams are super close. I mean, the same sort of teams that are in the top 8, top 10 are doing some really, really good work here again tonight. So this Sanhok is where it all boils down. Sanhok with the random factor, it's really anybody's game. And as everybody needs these points, I mean, I'm really excited to see what kind of action that's going to give us.
Yeah, that is going to be quite a bit of a challenge coming through. But as we look, I believe these are only the scores for today.
Yes.
All right. So I just had to check myself there, because I got a little confused for a second. But yeah, the 2 Belisos, 11 pies sitting on 15 points apiece. Definitely a more aggressive hand being brought through by the 2 Belisos there. Revive Me also very hard on the pressure there. So I think it's going to boil down to the final Sanhok to see which one of our respective teams are going to be the ones to not only take that pole position, but who will be making it up into that top 5.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. I mean, this is what we love to see in tournaments like this, is where it comes down to that final game, to the final few points, and we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of that. So that means it's going to be a lot of hot drops, hopefully. A lot of hot drops, a lot of intense fights, a lot of games. But yeah, we're going to be going into a quick break before that, I think, DK.
Yep, we are going to be hopping into a quick break. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll see you right back afterwards with all the Sanhok action.
I never understood why some people need teammates. I can easily get a chicken dinner by myself. Like now, all I have to do is use these. You've been eliminated. A Tusi bike? What a great vehicle. Who's next? Look, isn't that easy? Dang. Are you friend or foe? I think there's something special about it. Susie Bikes. What an interesting invention. Chicken dinner for two? Not bad.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our very last match here on the PUBG Mobile Valentine Royale. It is grand finals, day number last, match number last. And of course we're heading straight into the luscious jungles of Sanhok to see who are going to be those teams to clutch it out and steal the show. And of course, Nep, we've already been kind of trying to build up the tension towards this, right? We've been seeing quite the step up coming through in Erangel. The team's just pushing it even further, moving over in towards Murmur. And I think Sanhok is going to pop off like we haven't yet seen in the previous 3 days.
Oh, it absolutely is. I'm so excited for this Sanhok. It's my favorite map in competitive, just because of the craziness that we tend to see. Their teams just get a lot more aggressive on the jungle floors. But I'm looking at a lot of hot drops, hopefully. A lot of these teams might just decide, you know what, we got to lose, let's go for it. A lot of teams with the aggression that we've been seeing from them, I think a lot of teams are going to want to do those hot drops anyway, get those early points because they feel very confident. They've been very successful the last 2 games, so they're going to have a really nice mentality coming into the Sanhok, and I think that might change the way they play a little bit.
Well, I mean, at this point we can only speculate, right? But let's hope everything that you just said is going to come true, right?
Would be fun.
Yes, I think it's going to make for a super exciting Sanhok if that is the case. But all will be revealed in due course as we are a few mere moments away from seeing where the flight path is going to be taking us. But as we know by now, Sanhok flight path, yeah, it doesn't matter all too much. What is going to be more important though is where that first initial phase is going to be forming. And I mean, yesterday we did see a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a comfortable shift, but it was still a relatively decent position going through with that first phase.
It was. So looking to see maybe something of this of that same vein, something along that same vein rather, to get that that phrase right. But yeah, I mean that's a fairly straightforward plane to path. There we go. Like you said, it doesn't really matter all that much, but it certainly helps. Ooh. And the zone is nice, but that water is scary. I'm thinking we're gonna have some very interesting fights coming up.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm quite liking the zone. This is gonna be a very exciting one. Maybe it's gonna go towards maybe a little bit of that Tatmok action, maybe Paradise, maybe in between Bootcamp and Paradise. You know, it could go any which way, but I'm liking the fact that we are seeing a little bit of a congested play on towards that western side, moving towards that Tatmok to those open fields. And of course, as to be expected, we have a little bit of a hot drop action up in Bootcamp as well.
We do indeed. This looks to be the same 2 teams that were hot dropping in Miramar as well. So they are back at it. Maybe this time. Onion certainly seems to think so. Got that AK ready to go. Got those angles as well. But Leo has nades, so it could go either way here. Oh, but that's a Molotov coming in there, but he's not quite. Oh, that's cheeky. He's not inside that building. He's on the outside. So nice little angle, but not going to be serving him very well for much longer. So he's going to be going in. And this is where, he thought he could do it. Couldn't quite get it done.
So close.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one.
So close, but yet so far. You know, good attempt.
Indeed.
We'll give them 3 points for effort out of 5 on that one. But now they have to do their due diligence, look to see if they can find that sneaky angle to play at. And I mean, Potato and Onion, they're not going to be giving this one up quite easily, right? They are going to be looking to defend, especially Lobster, as best they can.
For absolutely, you're right there. Yeah. Oh, wait, hang on. I'm just looking at that mini map. It kind of looks like Leo is either trying to get a bigger angle or they're just kind of gonna let this one go. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. He's dancing all over the place. I think actually that mini map's a little off because they are right there. So not sure what's going on with that mini map. But yeah, again, it's just going to be a standoff. This is what often happens in this build. Excuse me, in this building. You can't do much other than just kind of stare at each other for a little bit. But that's a cheeky angle Onion has on that staircase. But he knows it. Leo knows he's there. So, but now Zero Remorse want a little bit of the action. This could be interesting.
You can see them just creeping up. Clot still having to pull over that hilltop, but as we can see, Aizen has already taken the plunge and moved themselves into position. But now it's a bit of a standoff, and I'm curious to see if Onion is going to be able to find that shot on towards Leo, because if they do, super cheeky play. But this is where we're at now, right? Lobster is a bit of a standoff, and Zero Remorse could help bring a little bit of decision to this play here.
Absolutely could. I think Mebecitos have to be very, very careful with how they play this now. Now that Aizen has fired a few shots, they're going to know he's back there. They're going to have to kind of split their attention between the two. Now, this is where Onion and Potato could go one of two ways. Either they use that distraction onto Mebecitos as impetus to actually make that play, or they could use that as an opportunity to just get out of there, just maybe even do a half retreat, just get some distance between them and take those third-party shots, maybe over towards the water, go on that kind of coastline, that bank area across the road and do that. Either way could work, but certainly looks like Zero Remorse are trying to cut off all access points to that area. They're kind of trying to get as many angles as they possibly can, so it's looking like they're hemming them in little by little here.
Yep, does seem like Zero Remorse are applying a maximum effort with regards to what they have up their sleeve, but Onion not finding that appealing angle just yet. Still keeping a very close eye to see whether or not Leo is going to budge. But speaking of budging, as we jump across, we are then, of course, moving straight over to the players coming through here from the side of Duco, and they find themselves in a bit of a standoff. Don Omar just on the opposite end of the road here.
Yeah, aren't they just? This is, again, you see this sometimes in Sandhawk as well, though. You kind of see these standoffs coming through in the early games, and this is no exception, especially when this compound in zone is actually going to be very, very useful. So they're going to want to both hold on to that with good reason. So we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, that's a nice nade, but I'm actually looking at that kill feed as well. Who's doing that and where? Oh, we're going back up to that compound. So yeah, it is Duco rather, looking a little bit worse for wear as Cassie is down, but I think he's going to be able to actually get back. And wow, okay, all right, they're just gonna let him crawl back. Okay,
well, let's see whether or not off is gonna go off, as the nade could reach all the way across.
Oh, a little.
It does take off a little bit of damage, a little bit out for that health, but out comes the molly. This could be the one to seal the fate.
It's a little far.
Flames once again, but aggressive, holding a very tight angle right in that doorway. It does seem like we are going to be having a bit of a throw contest come through. Come on. Oh, off it comes. It gets close. Oh, it finds damage. And so much damage being dealt. Yes, up they come, looking to close it off. And it's going to be the full duo now rushing straight on forward. The hits come through, and that is Lua out of here.
But DK, what's that going to mean for their overall points here? Because they've gone out really early. That's no points at all from this final game, and that's it. They can't even come back from this in another game. With the rest of how the rest of the lobby is looking, I don't know that they can hold on to that that first place spot.
Yeah,
God.
it's gonna be tough. Pretty much close to how tough that throw was coming through from
I
Klot.
know. Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
I was almost flinching on my end,
Yeah.
and we're not even playing, we're just watching. But now
Yeah.
Zero Morse trying to close the gap as they are getting ready to breach, and this could be quite the play of the night coming through here if they pull it off successfully.
If they pull it off successfully. Oh, it's looking Zero Remorse, man. They're looking really, really good though. Coming into that last Miramar. Oh, but Potato not able to find those shots at all. He missed them completely. That's a big fail, and that's gonna be the price they pay for that. Oh, out.
Oh. Yeah, that was them capped off right then and there. And Aza now. Oh, again with the DBS hits. We did see it over on Miramar. Now the effort's being replicated right here on Sanok. But maybe Sito's not out of the woods just yet as they look to push on forward. Will they be able to find the last few hits, the last few sprays? Oh, the jump shots.
Oh my
Now
goodness.
coming in from all directions.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness me. Love to see this kind of difference in play from Zero Remorse. Very, very aggressive, very on the ball, very switched on. Oh my goodness. Coming in from that last, the second half of Miramar. Azen just going in clutch. I wish he could get his teammate up, but he's not really in a position to do so. Surely this is now the play because that's going to keep them kind of on their toes a little bit, but no, that's the jump shot, and no, it's gonna be done. Dustin Mebecitos going out just like that, and that's gonna be not only Zero Morse winning boot camp, but winning against 2 teams, so that's 4 eliminations going their way as well.
Yeah, and I think all 3 elims coming through there from Azen were all dealt with that DBS, so, you know, maximum effort, Nep, maximum effort being brought through here by Zero Remorse. But now we venture back in towards the zone. There's going to be Cretinos just trying to evade a little bit of that attention and focus being brought through by Ventru. A little bit of a bumpy road here for Flint, but it's not going to deter them. Instead, they just hide the vehicle and head up into the Wizard Tower.
Yes, indeed, and Ventru are going to be knowing, I think Juan knows exactly where he is, but Flint on that off angle could be a little bit of a spoiler for Ventru's plans. Honestly, DK, I just keep thinking about Zero Remorse at this point. I would not be surprised if they're on the top of the leaderboard after this. As Coops goes down, excuse me, yeah. Coops going on out there, and to Don Omar as well. So looking like a nice little point, and actually it's going to be their 3rd point coming into this. They did win, of course, that fight with Duco, so they are looking very good at the moment as we see now Flint actually moved from Ventru over onto this side.
Yeah, but I mean, that takedown on Coops was quite interesting because, I mean, Coops was holding a stationary position, and we did see Execute actually rotating up towards that position of the potatoes. So, you know, great capitalization then coming through from Don Omar, just looking to play the field here and taking the opportunities wherever they find them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that kind of awareness you want to bring into a tournament like this. You've got to be on the ball, 360, every angle matters. So nice awareness coming in from them to be able to take them out like that. So GG's there. I do think we're looking, we're back still with Ventru and Cretinos. They got a kind of 1-1 split going on here, which is very interesting. A little risky considering the amount of teams that are over on this side, but for now it is going to be working for them. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. And Lemon Pie again looking very good coming out of Paradise, undeterred by anyone at all. So another team to keep our eyes on.
Well, we do see Flint now starting to just pull back a little bit. I think that is the safer option. Instead of leaving Monse all alone and isolated, just looking to reinforce it, knowing that there is a team somewhere in the vicinity, but not knowing exactly where they are.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always best to group up in those sorts of situations. It's not something you really want to take a risk on, especially when it's the last game of the finals. You really want to make sure you you have as much help as possible. So that's a good play coming in from them, just to regroup ever so slightly as the new zone has popped up, and I can tell you it is a hard shift up to Cal. So we're seeing a lot of teams have to come in, and now it's going to be absolute chaos, DK, on that southern side.
Ooh, but here we go. Ventru now trying to just advance a little bit further forward, but the shots are there. Monse now. I like this Overwatch position being held.
Yep.
One trying to sneak a cheeky nade in. Is it going to find the point? Oh no, gets super close, but doesn't reach over the ledge.
It doesn't. That's super surprising as two Belicios go out there. Oh my goodness me. They were looking so good coming into this, but I'm not sure that that's actually been enough to solidify that top 5. We'll have to see, but they go out much earlier than they would have liked, I think, on that final game. But, and he's trying to make a run for it. So far, he's made it. He's behind a tree. There's not much he can do.
But you gotta give it to Monse, right? I mean,
yeah,
just an absolutely phenomenal game of running away, evading those hits, and turning the tables on Ventru. Finds the hit on Juan, gets that confirmation secured, and now there's just one left to go. Of course, we jump all the way back over into Woods Cow, as you can see the players there from the side of Don Omar now looking to just assert their positioning, but Nito now trying to pick up the pieces here. Cretinos has really turned the tables, and this could be their fate now being sealed.
Oh, he's doing his absolute best. You can see the desperation coming through on those bullets, but no, it's not going to be enough. But 7th place for them. That's going to be nice. I thought that was 7 kills there for a moment. Oh my goodness. But no, looking really, really good there. Geez. Yeah. I want to say as well that Don Omar, completely different team to what we saw yesterday. I think Don Omar were much more passive in most of the games that we saw coming in from them. And this time they're really putting in that work.
Yeah, but it does seem like they've come through with a lot more of a strategic approach in today's games. And I mean, looking at the current positioning, they are holding on to some decent, strong hard cover right there.
Yeah.
In fact, the only teams who traded up in towards the north, and they can really look to play that in their favor. But now Cretinos in quite a troubling position, caught out in that blue zone as the next phase is revealed, pulling even further on towards Don Omar, but it's not looking great here, as you can see a lot of that pressure now coming through from the Lemon Pie.
Yeah, and Lemon Pie, another team doing super, super well here today, especially compared to yesterday. But yeah, Cretino's going to be going on out there, so we're down to our top 5 teams. And who have we got? Honestly, let's have a little bit of a look-see. We do have, of course, Lemon Pie. You can see Zero Remorse right now. They have to move into zone. But as do Revive Me, we still have both of them up. They've been pretty quiet so far today. So looking to see if they can make up for maybe less points than they had hoped to accumulate today. And also, of course, you got Execute here again, and Don Omar as well. So still, man, looking really, really good for Execute. Gotta say, they're both up. They're in the middle. They've got now almost full control of Cal, because Don Omar have that northern side, but Execute are really close.
Yeah, but look at Revive Me. Things are looking pretty tough on their front. That knock has come through. I mean, Pain does seem to be in a little bit of pain. Coops, fortunately, there to provide a helping hand, but they are going to have a pretty tough time as the blue zone has now caught up with them. And as we know, being in the 5th phase, about to hit that 6th phase, it's going to be an absolutely brutal blue zone to try and compete against. And now the zone just centers up a little bit further down and actually looking quite favorable, especially now for Zero Remorse.
It is. It really is. If they can manage to hold on to that warehouse, they are good to go. I was gonna say I'd almost like to see them move up a little bit out of the building into that high ground, but I tell you what, Lemon Pie have it. So Lemon Pie also in a great spot coming into this as well. But Execute, man, looking very nice. And yeah, Revive Me are gonna be going out to that zone as well.
And of course, the UC code right up on screen, so be sure to go ahead and claim that one as well. Go get your share. In case you missed it, just pause it, quickly rewind, grab the code, and go get yourself some UC. And speaking about UC, Aries, now you are being seen here by Off, and that could send them off as well. Ooh, little bit of a cheeky hit. Unfortunately, there for Off, Aries was able to duck back in behind that tree.
Yeah.
But again, a very difficult angle now for Aries to get themselves back into safety.
Yeah, Aries having a bit of a tough time there for sure. He's got nothing. I don't think he's really got anything at all to back up that position there. So he's just got to hide behind a tree as much as he can. He's only just inside zone. So definitely his days are numbered, I feel like. But look at Don Omar. 7 eliminations coming into this. Now they have to move in. They've waited till the very last second to get that rotation coming through. Which has kind of played into Zero Remorse's hands a little bit. No one's really pressuring them at this point in time. I think that's going to change as we see Execute having moved as much as they can kind of towards the edge of the town there. And they're going to have to try and move in. But I don't know. This feels like Zero Remorse have had it way too easy to stay here.
Yeah, we don't know quite yet, right? We'll see. So far, it does seem like the warehouse is still pretty much in position. And now it's going to be Aries looking to make a final stand as the blue zone does catch up with him. We're going to see that health bar drop like it's no one's business. But speaking about dropping, of course, we do have the advance coming through there from Don Omar as they get spotted out. Aizen giving us a little bit of a twitch play there. This could be the one to seal the fate. But a beautiful trade on both ends. It is going to be clocked down for the count. And Aggressive now losing their teammate.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Aggressive. Oh, and that's Execute on the roof, and out he goes. Star with that play. GG's. Don Omar did fantastic there. That third place still going to be excellent paired with those 7 eliminations. And we also lost Lemon Pie as well, so they've gone out in 5th. We're down to 2 teams. It is Execute and Zero Remorse. This is very familiar compared to the Miramar.
Oh. Yep, it is a scary, scary familiar. A little bit of a deja vu, but not the nice kind of deja vu, right? This is the, oh no, here we go again kind of deja vu, but let's see who's going to be the team to clutch it out. As Zero Remorse now find themselves in an interesting predicament here because the opening of the warehouse is leading out into the blue zone, so they can't wait too long before they start moving out. Instead, they have to be pretty proactive about it, but already Aizen going at it yet again with that DBS, looking to see if they can find even more elims. I mean, I've got a lot of faith in what we've seen come through from Aizen already, but this is going to be a pretty tough play.
It really is, especially when you consider, I mean, look at the way Execute is moving, the way they're covering all those exits. They're really trying their absolute hardest, but Casper doing good work. But Star backing up his teammate there, but he's got to get inside. Oh, just nearly missing out on that one. Oh my goodness me. So is this the reset? Because now we're kind of in a situation where both these teams have no access to each other.
Yeah. I mean, Execute, they have free reign. They can run around as much as they like. They can do push-ups, but now Aizen trying to push forward. Instead gets picked up and down they go. Clot, the final remaining hopeful here, and I'm pretty sure that zone is not going to be kind to them, as it could, of course, force that play in favor now of Execute. And I think it's going to come down to a little bit of that utility. Right, that's the only way to get anything sent. But as we can see, Star doesn't have a single drop of utility. I don't think Casper has got anything, and I'm not quite sure that Claude has anything either. But there we go. Star gets spotted. Oh,
GG's.
To the zone, and that is Execute picking up the winner chicken dinner, but by default.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, by default, what a way to win it, though. They really, really pressured them. I think that might have been part of the plan, though. I would have loved to see that be part of the plan by Execute, to just what's the word? be actually very kind of pushing Zero Morse in the warehouse, keeping them in there and doing just enough to make sure that they stayed in there, that they kind of facilitated that win for themselves by not even taking those eliminations. They could just keep them inside, let the zone do the work, and take a very nice win indeed. So GG's Execute, and also GG's Zero Morse, GG's Don Omar. Some excellent high kill plays coming into this last game.
Yeah, gotta agree with you on that one. I have to say, if that was indeed the plan coming through from Execute, it was a plan very well executed then, right? I mean,
yes.
Talk about big brain strats. That is a beautiful showing of that. But we did see some heavy elims coming through. We know Execute picking up 4. We did see Zero Morse picking up 5. But then we get over on towards Don Omar, looking to break the bank, coming in with 7 elims. And I think, Aizen comes in with those 4 elims, just narrowly taking the MVP, the player of the match, with 751 damage.
What a great game from Aizen again coming into the Sandhawk, because he did that again with the Miramar as well. If I remember correctly, he was player of the match in Miramar as well. So definitely on a roll. It's one of those things where it's a shame that there's only 3 matches, because when you have a really good day, you want to dominate as much as possible. But very much a GG's going there. But it is going to be Don Omar, and I think we could have probably seen this coming. Yes, 7 eliminations, 3 assists, and doing enough damage for all those combined, because 1084 is going to be the damage going over to him.
Yeah, almost 11. It's pretty dang close. But yeah, a very strong performance coming through here from Don Omar, Romeo Santos. And of course, as we head into our head-to-head, it is Don Omar up against Zero Remorse. Again, some very strong plays. But as we know, Zero Remorse, they took that second place, so it does give them a slight bit of an upper hand. But looking at the placement points, I think Don Omar still coming off a little bit better at the end. Yeah, absolutely. I think we could be seeing, it's certainly going to be very close, TK, right? I think we're definitely only going to be seeing 2, 3, 4, 5 points maybe between kind of the top 5 or 7, I want to say, because a lot of those teams have been very consistent. And then we've also had some teams on the second half of the page just shoot up. So I'm very, very excited to see where this actually gets to. But the top 4 teams for the Sandhawk game are going to be Don Omar, Zero Remorse, Execute, and Kretinos as well. We did see them pretty late into that last game as well. So 2 eliminations going their way as well. So very, very interesting. But yeah, those top 3 putting in some real damage onto these teams. Yeah, they've done quite a bit coming through. But the elims pretty much stop at the top 6. We don't really see any teams. Yeah, there's nobody beyond the top 6 picking up a single elimination. So
that's crazy.
That's where all the damage was dealt, all the carnage came through. And of course, now Execute sitting on the board there with 41 total points to their name, taking 2 of the chicken dinners here for today. Wow.
I mean, big GG's going over to Execute, because of course we've not seen that before. We've not seen 2 wins in anything coming into no one in the semifinals, no one in the finals so far except for tonight. So a big old GG's going over to Execute there, and Zero Morse as well with 20 points. But that's just how consistent Execute have been, right? Look at that, 15 eliminations, and while you don't really, I think it's really the rank points, so those 2 wins definitely helped. But Zero Morse in second place, as well as they've done today, half of the total points.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the Execute's performance, they got first, and second, right? That brings us up to 26 points. So an excessively aggressive push. Yeah. Very, very successful performance coming through there from Execute. I mean, it's twice the points. It is the points of Zero Remorse and Lemon Pie combined. To equate to the total points that we saw coming through from Execute. So yeah, I mean, no surprise to see all these absolutely phenomenal bits of action coming through. But I'm curious to see how that then translates over into the grand overall, the big leaderboard. To see how these teams actually then fared.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see that because we did see Execute, I think, in 10th place with like 15 points, 10 points. I think it was 10 points. Oh, UC code. Go grab the UC code over here. Very, very quickly. I'm pretty sure it's probably one of the last ones you're going to be able to grab, and it's 5,000 UC. So go ahead and input that into the redeem page on PUBG's website. You won't regret it. And especially with, you know, the new Bugatti coming in, you're going to want as much UC as you can possibly get. So go ahead and grab that code. First come, first serve, though, so be very quick about it. But yeah, just going back over to Execute very quickly, so that for them to go from 10 points in the day yesterday to 41, I mean, that's going to put them at, quick maths, 51 points, right? I'm not sure that as well as these other teams have done, that they're going to get anywhere near that in reality, because where we see Duco, oh, here we go, 51, 40 points for Don Omar. So Duco coming in from that first position, not having the day they really wanted and going down to 5th, but only by 2 points. The Potatoes narrowly missing out on some prize money there.
Yeah, and it's a pretty close draw, as we know. Potatoes, they had a victorious run. They picked up a winner chicken dinner. And the same, of course, can be said there for Revive Me. Revive Me, sure. Both teams just missing out by 2 and 3 points respectively. So it has been a really tough play. I mean, maybe Cito's also putting in some good effort. We can see the two Belizos. They really stepped it up in the first game. But it does seem like things, you know, started to look a little bit more challenging as we moved into that second and third game. But still a valiant effort being brought through. 18 points. Yeah, definitely not a bad show. I mean, Venture also keeping it up. And it's unfortunate to see Coffee and Milk finishing with only 1 point on the board.
Wow, that's really interesting, because Coffee and Milk, if I remember correctly, in the semifinals were looking pretty darn good. So that's a very strange switch up, and that's just got to be disappointing for them. But yeah, Chocolate Milk as well with those 3. Savage, interestingly enough, because we've seen some really cool stuff from Savage as well, but you know, just wasn't their weekend, and it happens sometimes.
Yeah, that is just the way the cookie crumbles. Of course, the nice thing about Milk is you can add Oreos into the mix and enjoy that.
Always.
Yes, yes, always so nice. But again, a very, very exciting event that we had here. The duos really keeping up the pressure. A lot of them performing like we would see with squads, right? If comparing that to a full 4-person team, it's pretty impressive players that we saw coming in. And of course, that makes me so excited to see what is going to come through in this 2023 season of the competitive side of PUBG, right? Because a lot of the teams are, as we know, heading into the PMPL that is going to be starting in this coming week. So I'm going to be glued to the screen to see what the teams are doing, you know, kicking off the season, showing us exactly what they've got. Yes, we know that some of the teams over in Southeast Asia have already started with their PMPL action, but the rest of the world is pretty much, you know, getting ready to step up to the pro plate.
Definitely. It makes, like you said, it's super exciting to see just a little taste of what these NA teams have in store and what they've kind of got prepared for PMPL as well. So definitely gonna be watching NA PMPL for sure. But honestly, all the PMPLs coming up, we're looking at a big increase in just the talent and the strategies and all that kind of stuff that we're seeing across the world. So very, very exciting season coming up for PMPL. I'm going to be very excited to see that, especially after this event.
Yeah, well, speaking about that, of course, it is that time of evening yet again. We want to thank all of you for joining in on the action right here on the PUBG Mobile Valentine Royale. We appreciate you rather, and thank you for coming out and you know, just chilling with us for a little smidge here. But of course, yeah, big ups to our teams. You guys are legends, just keeping up some pretty spicy plays. Thank you to you, Neptro, as well, and all the guys behind the scenes on the production, doing the scoring and all the such as well. But yeah, with that, we are going to bid you a fair night, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. So until then, stay fresh, stay frosty, and we'll see you back soon.
We